Yeah.
Jesus died for all of us, irrespective of race, tribe, age, child, teenager, adult, all of us.
Right.
You know, and I think when I think of love through God's eyes, then I look at love through the qualities of love. Not so much the feeling, because most of us think, I'm in love because I'm feeling this way.
Right.
I have fallen out of love because I'm feeling this way, or because this has happened. And the love of God helps us to actually go over and above the situations or circumstances we may be going through. So for me, starting is really saying, God is love. So if I start with God, God loved me so much. He didn't just create me. He made me amazing, beautiful, wonderful. So if I love myself through God's eyes, if you think dark skin is a problem, that's your problem. Me, I am, black is beautiful, look for the positive things, because, God doesn't make junk,
No.
If you think I'm too short, that's your problem. When God created me, He said everything was beautiful. That included you and I, So if I start by loving God, then I'm going to love me. And when I love and accept me, then it's a whole lot easier to love and accept others, because we're different. With all that I think I'm good, I'm not perfect.
No.
There are many areas I fall short, and sometimes people find it difficult to either work with me or do stuff with me, But in spite of those differences, I need to see other people through the same eyes of God. You know that God created you special, God values you. I do things differently. I talk fast, I shower fast, make decisions fast, And then,
That's a good thing, though.
which is great.
Yeah.
But that becomes a challenge. And when many people that take their time, I'm still seeking the Lord. I also seek the Lord, and I'm still waiting on the Lord. And you think, for how long does God take? How they do stuff, even to the simplest things that, when you get, a maid to help you at home, and they're doing a great job. But because they are thorough, they are slow.
Yes.
And you delegate and you take the work back, and you're thinking, okay, am I really doing what Jesus would have done? So I think being able to look at the broader aspect of that. So whether it is as a parent with your children, they'll also be different. Whether it is as a spouse, you love your spouse. I love my husband 23 years this Sunday. But we're different. And there are times when I'm like, really, God, this is just not working out. Because I want things to go at a certain pace or do something now. And it's like, let's wait. And I'm like, wait, you count 1 to 10, breathe in, breathe out.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, say, not Christine, is God counting my life just on this one decision?
Yeah.
Look at there's so many other things that are working out well. There's so many reasons to thank God for. And in a way, God actually counsels you through that situation. You're like, what, it's okay. It can pass. It's not, because sometimes you feel like this one must be done now.
Yes.
And the other person, that's not their priority. Like we say, don't make your emergencies be my priorities, because me, I have my priorities set. My day was to do this, was this. Over a sudden, you want me to drop my list and pick up yours, which was because of poor planning or delayed. Not that yours is wrong, but don't make me feel like if I don't do my part, then yours can't happen.
Yes.
You should have notified me early. So I think it's being able to look at love through God's eyes, then being able to appreciate people more, be patient. And that brings us, at 1 Corinthians 13, we think about the love chapter in the Bible, and it's really about the qualities. Love being patient, love being kind, love not keeping a record of wrongs, and I'm still a work in progress. Even after 25 plus years in salvation, you find that forgiveness doesn't just come like that. You feel like by the time you say those words, you meant them. You can't just say, I'm sorry. For saying I forgive you, sometimes you want to process it and say, but where are they coming from? I've known you for this long. How could you say something like that? You know how it was going to hurt me. Then you think about the times when you yourself have been, rushed to speak and maybe made wrong conclusions about situations just because in the look of things, it looks like, I'm a parent with 4 boys, and sometimes when a young child is crying, when you come, you just go for the older one. By the time you get the facts, you apologize. And you're like, Mommy, you know why I was beating them? They were climbing, where you told us not to go, it's dangerous. And I found myself apologizing to my older children, saying, I'm sorry. Because I realized at that point, there has been grave injustice. And if they keep that in their hearts, little as they are, right there is a seed of bitterness. Thinking, Mommy loves so and so, I was trying to help. Okay, next time I'll do nothing.
I'll let them climb.
Wow.
When we do return, level, come and up, say, the CIA, FBI.
Yeah, sometimes the things are necessary. But the truth about love is the Bible says better open rebuke than hidden love.
Yes.
So Don't let your love be a creepy love. Let it be open.
Open. And this hour is proudly brought to you by MTN.
Absolutely. And of course, MTN is partnering with Victoria University, and they are giving away 10 scholarships. That's 5 full ones and 5 half ones to MTN Pulsers. And if you would like to win, all you have to do is record a video and just post it on your social media. Use the hashtags MTN Pulse and study at VU, and just go ahead in the video and just give a reason as to why you deserve the scholarship for a chance to win. If you'd like more details, go ahead and visit pulse.mtn.co.ug/VU scholarships. Everywhere you go, MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
That's right. And this morning we're looking at Ephesians. Our main focus is Ephesians chapter 4, verses 2 to 3. And Pastor Christine, would you please read from the Amplified Version?
Well, thank you so much, Ronnie. Quickly, Ephesians 4, 2 to 3 says, with all humility, that is forsaking self-righteousness and gentleness, which is maintaining self-control, with patience, bearing with one another, in unselfish love, make every effort to keep the oneness of the Spirit in the bond of peace, each individual working together to make the whole successful.
Unity should be the goal. Now, when you read from the King James Version, there's a word there that has long suffering, with long suffering. And usually when you look at the word long and suffering, you're like, yo, how long am I going to be suffering? How would you define the word long suffering? Like, what does the Bible actually intend for us to understand from the word long suffering?
Wow. I know those words seem to be unnatural.
Yeah.
But I think it's another term that is used to express patience. But if you're going to love and live in love, there has to be a duration of time. If I use another term like faithfulness, you can't do an act of faithfulness. It's over time. So long suffering has to do with holding in there over this long period of time. To me, one of my game changers was meeting this gentleman in Singapore, one of our facilitators, whose wife had a mental issue for 25 years.
Wow.
And he held on. By God's grace, she came out of that, and they are now happier. Not just happily, happier. So standing with her in all that season, when he could have found reason, say, now this breaks the contract that we made, he said, I'm committed to her, for better, for worse, in every life circumstance. It challenged me. It challenged me. So when we talk about long suffering, there's that commitment to this person for all their time. And I think, again, that's why we talk about family. Your brother is not your brother only because he's not messed up your shoes and your trousers and your perfume. You're in this for life. And I think that's what God calls us to. He's loved us forever. And he'll want us to join him in expressing that love to everybody forever.
Thank you.
Amazing. Very interesting when Pastor Christine was reading from the Amplified Version. Something came up about self-righteousness and pride, and I believe that the two are very one is rooted in the other. And interestingly, there's a verse, Luke chapter 7 verse 47, where the Lord, after the lady had anointed his feet and she was being condemned, and the Lord said that therefore I say to you, her sins which are many are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loves little. And I think it comes back to self-righteousness. The reason as to why many times we do not look at people through God's glasses is because we forget the amount of grace we have been extended, that he gave us his only son and he loved us that much. And the same way that he loved us, we should extend that same grace to other people, regardless of their disposition, their current situation, you know. And so just if you could just share, how can somebody come out of that space of self-righteousness? How can somebody come out of that space of pride in order to see people the way that God sees them?
We don't choose our tribe, we don't choose our family, we don't choose our looks, you know. So the earlier I actually get it that by the way I'm who I am, by the grace
Yeah.
of God. Sometimes just walk on Kampala Road and then you find people that are begging.
Mhm.
You know, some have got, we are born maybe with certain disabilities.
Yeah.
And when you're carrying a child, we all look forward to a bouncing baby, perfect. Even their moms looked on with expectation
Yes.
until that moment when maybe they had to deal with reality.
Yeah.
Has God stopped loving us when that happens?
No.
For those of us that have babies that are seemingly perfect, is there anything we did special? So I think sometimes when you start by looking at you and God,
Mhm.
like you said, God loved me so much. I am a sinner, if it wasn't for the grace of God, I've been hell on my way down that road. But who am I, Lord, that you are mindful of me?
Yes.
So I think when we look at other people, or first look at ourselves through the eyes of God, and realize it's only by the grace of God. Who I am, what I do, what I have become, is not anything that I have qualified for. It's really purely the grace of God. And God decides whom He gives, whether it's height, wealth through the eyes of the world, because the world counts, success, through a different lens from what God looks at, But God is looking spiritual success. How are you doing? If you were to drop dead today, what's your destiny? He's looking at success from a family perspective, success from your relationship aspect, success from, your interaction of appreciation of God's nature, your neighbor, love your neighbor as you love yourself, So I think when I do that, then that helps to break that selfish, that everything's about me, Love God, love self, love other people. And I think when that becomes your lifestyle, so there has to be intentionality. It won't just happen. I think we're all born, the Adamic seed, we say, there's that aspect of selfishness. Even with all your good intentions, even as a couple, when you have to make a choice, what color do we paint the house? You want it to incline towards what you actually want. What do we have for Christmas? Your mind is set up, the Christmas balls are going to be red and gold. You're asking just for formality, but you already see yourself, you see your true set. Where do we have Christmas? Is it my village or yours? You are just seeing yourself halfway the journey towards your grandparents, So really just trying to say that when we look at life beyond us, and that's where that aspect of selfishness, when you focus on self, me, myself, and I, that breaks the chain. When you look at life beyond that, there's more to life than just me.
Definitely.
Whether it's in a family, whether it's in a workspace, whether it's in a community. And that's why I like our church, challenging us through seed projects, reach out of your gate, walk in,
Care for the
hand to a
community.
neighbor, who moved in recently, who lost somebody recently, who is an elderly, So let's just continuously be intentional to God first, love other people, and that will help to break the selfishness. There's more to life than just you.
That's true.
I think sometimes we have what I'll call a low self-esteem. We have such a poor view of ourselves that all others either out-competing us or they bring us some pleasure by being less than the way we see ourselves.
I see that.
Yeah, so we have that problem. But I think when you see the way God sees you, it makes a difference. So there's a place of me accepting myself. Yes, this is my height, this is my tribe, this is a school I went to. There's a lot, and I know yesterday we were talking about our new identity. There's getting to that place where you know that I am special, I am accepted, I am blessed, I am loved. It doesn't matter what happens around you.
Right.
You may be cashless, broke, and you're already in the future because you're cashless. I think there's a place to say, I need to accept myself. I may have grown without a father and everything, but this is me. So it's important that you accept God's love. And the second thing that I believe is important for us is to learn or to understand the value God has placed on us. When we value ourselves the way God values us, and by the way, we obtain our value from God, not because of the amount of money we have, or the looks, or the height. No, we are all created in the image of God, and that needs to settle in our hearts that we definitely belong to God. Think about it. Jesus died on our behalf.
Priceless.
The Bible is clear that not after we are perfect. Like when I go to a shop, I want to put my money on a perfect commodity. and I even want a warranty.
Take a cent away.
Okay? But
Yes.
we are not even worthy to be on a shop shelf
No.
when Jesus died for us. We are worthy to be in a trash bin.
Hell.
But he saw the value, because God does not create junk, and he's in the process of doing something beautiful. Out of darkness, out of the ashes, he's doing something beautiful. And so I need to see my brother, my sister, in the light of what is God doing in that person. So I must see them in the value that they are. Yeah. So to me, there are two things that I think are key: accepting yourself, but also seeing the value that God has placed on other people.